before we start this video, let's get the update part of this out of the way. So, you could probably have noticed that it's been around a month since I uploaded anything. For one, I have to apologize for that, and two, the reason being is, well, more or less motivation, and I've been too invested in my gacha games lately. Dokkan, Smash Tap, Duel Links. I have a life inside of a video game, I'm sorry, but that mainly this beginning part is just to apologize, and hopefully I'll be able to bring out more consistent videos starting from this one, which will be uploaded tomorrow. When I'm recording this, it's Thursday, this will be up Friday, yada yada yada. So, without further ado, let's get into the main part of the video. Boop. Hey guys, Kevin here. I probably already said that twice in the beginning, but oh well. So, you probably heard that semi-recently on JP that it got the Otherworld story event that used to be exclusive to Global. A lot of people didn't like that, especially considering a lot of the Otherworld units got buffed on JP, understandably, because it's how would you say this? It's a pretty old banner, especially considering that it came out on Global like a year plus ago at this point, and just came to JP, so they had to update the units a bit to get people to summon for them. So, in this video, we're not going to have any gameplay. Right now you see Cordes Great on the screen, King Gold, whatever Google Translate wants to call him. And we're going to talk about how he could bridge the gap between the units in some way or another, between the global ones that are currently in the game and the JP ones that got added recently. So, we'll start off with the most useless one who somehow got a buff, King Cold. So let's go on global. He's an SR. He had int types, enemy attack minus 20%, extreme damage to the enemy, with his full power death beam. Attacked enemies attack minus 25%. Link skills: brutal beatdown, strongest cut in space, tough as nails, thirst for conquest, and Otherworld warriors. And meanwhile, on JP, he got buffed. His leader skill's the same at 20%, or minus 20. I cannot talk. It's late for me. Give me a break. I just wanted to make this video to have some content and voice my opinion on some stuff. So his attack hit int type enemies attack minus 20% is his leader skill. Goodness, that was hard. His super attack is full power death beam, which gives supreme damage and lowers defense on the JP version, which is stupid because he's the first SR with supreme. I don't know why. Passive is attack and defense minus 25% when he attacks an enemy, and link skills are pretty much the same. So sure, this guy is pretty irrelevant, but a Dokkan Awakening for this guy could easily bring both of them up to par, which could be like the leader skill could, like, he would Dokkan into a, like, probably from like the Otherworld, probably from King Cold Medals, his Super Strike event. He'd probably Dokkan into a base SSR from an SR, so his leader skill could be like attack plus attack. In-type enemies attack minus 40% as leader skill, using for a super battle or for some cheese or something. He can keep supreme damage but greatly lower defense instead for both his global and JP versions. That, like, the point of this is trying to make a scenario where the units could become the same or mix the two of them, if that makes sense. So his link skills will probably stay the same. Maybe get, I don't know. Honestly, King Cold's just a random unit I decided to give an idea on, so let's get into the real meat of this. So now we have the farmable Super Saiyan Angel Goku, which on global is int with a premium potential system. Meanwhile, on JP he is STR with a free dupe potential system, or like the free unit potential system, if that makes sense. The plus 3,000, etc., etc. So this is a bit of a harder one. So I was thinking, if these guys both got a TUR, like, the thing is, on global, these buffs are going to be massive, which means it'll happen, like, probably a bit farther into the game's lifespan, but it's still something that could even up the gap eventually. So I feel like these guys, since they're different typing, this is going to be a bit hard. So I think, well, let's go over what the cards first do on global and JP. So on global, he's int all types attack, HP and attack plus 30%, irrelevant. Extreme damage to enemy and raise attack for 3 turns, which is, excuse me, which is, I think, yeah, it's 50% increase. So his passive is high chance of ki plus 2 and attack plus 80%. Links are all in the family: Super Saiyan, Golden Warrior, Super Warrior Race, Saiyan Warrior Race, Kamehameha, and Otherworld Warriors. So all in all, he's the only, one of the only free units that isn't like a special 100% unit or an LR that has the premium potential. And now on JP, they nerfed him by giving him the free one, but they also buffed him. So now he's Super STR, and there'll be a reason why for that after. He gives Super STR attributes ki plus 2 and HP attack and defense 50% up, so he's a nice little sub-leader if anything. He now deals supreme damage with a Kamehameha, and at the start of the turn he gets ki plus 4, a great chance of attack plus 80% and defense plus 40%, so all in all, his passive is much better than, and even super attack is much better than it was on global. His links are exactly the same though. So here's what I'd propose. This guy would probably Dokkan from the Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku event and obtain Fierce Battle as his 7th link. And there would only be a few different, how this would work is that the two cards, in my eyes, would combine a bit for his potential TUR. So what it would be is the Goku on Global would stay Super Int with the premium buff, which would technically make him better than the JP one, but there's nothing we can necessarily do about that, because if Bandai took that premium potential system away from him, that would screw so many people out of their orbs and there would be so many complaints. But back on topic, so he'd be level 120. I personally think his leader skill would be, for the global one, Super Int types ki plus 3, HP attack and defense 70% or 50%. Or it stays the same at 50%, sort of like what they did with Khalifa, but just with her ki. So either he'll be a 3 ki, no, it could go a bit different ways. It'll either be 2 ki 50, it'll be 2 ki 70% all stats, or 3 ki 70%, or 2 ki, or 3 ki with you get what I'm trying to say. So it would basically be either 3 ki with 70%, 2 ki with 50%, or yeah, I'm gumming on my words. Anyways, so that would be his leader skill. The only difference would be the JP one would be for Super STR, and the global one would be for Super Int. And yeah, I think I'm gonna settle for, as a free card, completely free, 2 ki and 70% all stats is what I would think. Sort of like STR Khalifa. And remember, this would be a ways into the game's lifespan. This wouldn't happen anytime soon. Also, let me get a drink of water. Alright, so that's what would be their leader skills. Their super attack would both of them would have supreme, but the JP one will pick up the 3-turn attack boost for 50% onto his ki modifier that the global one has. So both of them would cause supreme damage to the enemy and raise their attack for 3 turns. Now the passives. So I feel like essentially what would happen is the global one would get the ki plus 4 at the start of turn that the JP one has, and both of them would in turn get a great chance of 100% at the start of turn, and defense plus 50%. So it would basically be they get 4 ki, they automatically super with the 4 ki because they only need 9 ki, but they also get a great chance of 150 instead of the JP one's current 80 and 40. So the only difference at that point would be their typing and their potential system, which there's really not much they could do about that, if anything, but this is just trying to bridge the gap a bit, even if one may get the short end of the stick or the other. So that's the Goku and the King Cold out of the way. Let's go over to the Cell, who I pulled because of the 15 stone discount on Global. Out of all the ones I could have gotten, I got the one I couldn't use at all. Anyhow, that's JP one. Let's go over the Global one first. So, HL tape ki plus 2, HP attack defense 30%, normal. Solar Kamehameha causes supreme damage and lowers defense. Oppression of the Otherworld, attack plus 50% for every ki spear obtained, so he's a nuker. His link skills are Big Bad Bosses, Ultimate Life Form, Kamehameha, Shocking Speed, Nightmare, and Otherworld Warriors. So, all in all, a meh unit, really. So then we go over to the JP version. Speed AGL types, key +2, HP attack defense plus 50%, so he gets a boost of 20. And this cell now on JP version has a Kaioken effect on his on his defense. His defense will always keep going up by like, I think it might be like 30% or something, I don't know. And he does supreme damage instead of lowering defense. He now boosts his own defense, which makes him a bit better. And his updated passive is every key sphere obtained, he gets 15% attack, same as on global, but he also gets 5% more defense now, so a little bit of a buff. Links are the same, so this cell, I would say, could get Fierce Battle also, like the free Goku. He can Dokkan from the current cell event, the STR one. And so he gets Fierce Battle on top of his links currently. And what I think they do, these guys aren't too different on Global and JP, thankfully, so it's going to be a bit easier. So I think a fair jump that you can make would be giving these guys an updated leader skill for a TUR being AGL takes key +2, HP attack and defense plus 70% up. So sort of like AGL Caulifla, basically the higher stat boost but a bit of a nerfed key. His super attack would still be supreme, and the global one would pick up the boosting his defense, and maybe the TUR of both of them would also lower the defense of the enemy hits. So they boost their own and lower the opponent's, basically. Could happen. This is all just theories I'm throwing out. So the passive, though, I feel like both of them, like both these cells, would end up as a TUR, having every key sphere obtained, they can get 20% attack, which is already big, but also 10% defense. And maybe change, say, STR orbs to AGL orbs to be more self-sufficient. That would make this cell a much better unit on both JP and Global, because even with the buff it got on, like the cell got on JP, it's not even that useful considering he doesn't even have a category. It's future, I don't know why no cells are on the future category, but oh well. So that's what I think what I would do with the cell to give him a Dokkan Awakening to please both versions. Next we're going on to the Tech Frieza. So this Frieza got a decent buff on JP, but let's go over what he does on Global. Tech types key +2, 30 across the board. Supreme damage with a rare chance to stun the enemy on the death ball. His passive is pretty simple, 90% attack when performing a super attack. Link skills are Prodigy, Strongest Con in Space, Universe's Most Malevolent, Shocking Speed, Nightmare, and Otherworld Warriors. So he's pretty generic, all things considered, but now we go over to the JP version, and he gets the same treatment as Cell. He gets 2 key and then 50% to all stats instead of 30. And this is interesting, his Death Ball, instead of stunning, now raises his attack, and he has a permanent Kaioken effect on his attack for 30%. Let me just make sure to check, ignore those ads down there, whoops. Let's see, yep, 30% on the attack rise. So, his passive now becomes attack plus 100% and then defense plus 80% when triggering the Death Blow, aka the super attack. And his link skills are exactly the same. So, what I do to this Frieza, he could also get Fierce Battle very easily. Dokkan Awakening from the Int Angel Golden Frieza event. Especially since that Frieza drops a Frieza that you can use to farm this guy. So the thing is, how would this guy change? And remember, all these Dokkan Awakenings I'm talking about would be present on both versions. Dokkan Awakenings from the same card. It's just that because of the nature of these guys already being a bit buffed on JP, the global ones would theoretically be buffed more than the JP ones, but they would still be the same card in the end, as TURs. So I feel like it would be the same as Cell, 2 key, and 70% to tech types. And I feel like this might be a bit OP, but I think what this Frieza could do is have the attack rise, supreme damage, and the rare chance to stun. To make him a good mesh of both Friezas. Passive, I could see, like, he still keeps supreme damage, by the way. Like, I doubt any of these guys will get immense. So I feel like his passive could go up to 120 on the super attack, and 100% defense. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. So I feel like his passive on super would be attack plus 120% and defense plus 100%, so he'd still be able to tank. So I think that's a reasonable boost, and he'd have Fierce Battle along with all these links. that I listed off before, so that's the Frieza. Now we're getting into a bit of difficult territory. Let's start off with Pycon. Oh, I had that up. Okay. STR Pycon, or on JP, the Int Pycon. So this is the only one you can really say who got nerfed on JP. And here's the thing though. You're probably asking already, he's a TUR. What are you going to do, make him an LR? Along with the Kaioken Goku, they're both TURs already. And so, what could they do? I feel that sometime in the future when all this could happen, they could bring out a dual Extreme Z Awakening, having both the Pycon EZA and Kaioken Goku EZA at the same time, and they could both do something like Revived Warriors, because it's kind of ironic that they're dead, so, and they're not in the category because they're still dead, they're in hell when this is taking place, so I feel like that could work in a theoretical EZA for them, so we're gonna go with that. So we'll start off with Pycon anyhow. So the situation with Pycon is going to be the same as the farmable Goku over here on JP and Global. That's what I mean. They basically switch typing. So how this would work is that I feel like in EZA, obviously Pycon would gain the plus 15 super attack and increase stats or whatever. So what I think his leader skill, I feel could, like, especially since, oh yeah, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. First, let's talk about what Pycon does on Global and JP. So, STR types Ki +2, 50% to all stats. Thunder Flash, supreme damage, and greatly lowers attack. Passive is 70% and all enemies defense minus 30%. His links are Prepared for Battle, Gentleman, Experienced Fighter, Shocking Speed, Cold Judgment, Otherworld Warriors, and Fierce Battle. And this is where the nerf kicks in. So, the Int Pycon, he has 2 Ki and 70% to all stats. Same thing on his super attack, reduces attack, supreme damage. His passive, attack plus 100% and enemy's defense minus 50%, which is very nice. Here's the problem. Supreme Warrior and Rebirth. He loses Fierce Battle, which honestly, both the Kaioken Goku and Pycon should never have gotten Fierce Battle in Global, but I don't know why they did. So he loses Prepare for Battle and Fierce Battle, so especially when being Int now, he can't utilize that Shocking Speed as well as he could on STR, for example. So this Pycon is literally almost a dead unit on JP. Like, at least the Global one, even if he's weaker, he still has uses on Super STR, as memey as it is. So for a theoretical EZA of this Pycon, I feel like their leader skills for their respective types, which is Int and STR, I feel like we'll add a bit of a restriction to that and make it Super Int and Super STR get 3 Ki and 90% up to all stats. That might be a bit broken, but this isn't EZA we're talking about. You have to go through all the stages to unlock it. And I feel like this Pycon, both the Global and JP one, would pick up immense damage at level 15. So they'd be doing a lot more damage on their supers. And for the passives, I feel like remember, the Global one will get a bigger boost theoretically, but they'll both end up the same, besides their typing. So, I feel like Pycon, when it comes to Pycon, I feel like the biggest boost you can give this guy is 120% attack up, and maybe put it to enemy's defense minus 70% instead of 50. That's, I think, the biggest boost you can give this Pycon, if anything. And now it comes to links. So, obviously, the Global Pycon has better links, but currently, no EZA has changed links on JP or Global. So in an ideal world, this guy would pick up Prepare for Battle instead of Supreme Warrior and maybe get Fierce Battle from the EZA instead of Shattering the Limit, to make them both equal, like pretty much equals besides their typing. But we wouldn't, like, I'm not gonna put my chips on that if this ever does happen, because they haven't changed links yet, but I could be wrong. So I think that's how they would do the Pycon. And now let's go to the main unit. Kaioken Goku. This guy got the biggest change, if anything, on Global and JP. So, let's start off with what he does on Global. Fist types Ki +2 and 50% to all stats. Super Kaioken coming out immense damage already, and he sacrifices 7% HP to launch the super attack. Thundering Aura is 3 key and attack plus 100% when HP is 50% or above. Link skills are Prepared for Battle, Shocking Speed, Super Saiyan, Kamehameha, Over in a Flash, Otherworld Warriors, and Fierce Battle. So all in all, he's a pretty nice unit, even on global right now, but that 50% restriction is what holds him back, which is why JP did away with it. So and these guys are the same type, luckily, just makes my job easier here. So he's Fist types, 2 key and 70% now. His super attack does immense, but instead of reducing HP by 7%, it reduces it by 5% now. And his passive is where he got a stupid buff. So at the start of the turn, he gets ki plus 4 and attack plus 120% with no restriction, and a medium chance to dodge incoming attacks. Link skills are exactly the same besides a rebirth instead of Fierce Battle. So an easy A for Kaioken Goku would be a difficult one, if anything. I'd say it would end up being, it would be like Pikkon, and it would end up being Super Fizz, 3 key and 90% all stats for both of them. It would be a bigger buff for the global one, but they would still be the same. Remember that. That's where this is going. And I feel like he would do level 15 immense like the Pikkon ECA I talked about, but I feel like just to change it up, instead of 5, it will go down to 3% HP reducing. Like, it's 5% is already not much, but I feel like lowering it would also give it a chance for them to be the same cards. So this will go down from 7 to 3, and this one will go down from 5 to 3. So it would still be fair in the end. So passive wise now, the global Kaioken Goku will pick up the 4 key with no restriction, and I feel like, if anything, I can see this going to attack plus 140 for one. I think this would go a full power Frieza route. At start of the turn, ki plus 4, attack plus 120%, and defense maybe 80%, I'd say. Just because he's already a hard enough hitter, he doesn't need more attack, especially on JP. So I think 4 ki, 120%, and 80% defense, with both of them having the medium chance to dodge and no HP restriction, would be the best thing. Would be the thing for them, because I remember D Free in one of his videos saying that cards on Dokkan now are being able to do multiple things instead of just do damage. So I feel like this Goku with his chance to dodge and a defense buff for an ECA would make him a lot better. So if anything, links would still be the same, and if anything, if they do change a link, the JP one would hopefully pick up Fierce Battle as his last link instead of Rebirth, and they would end up being the same card. So to quickly go over what I said, basically, King Cold is irrelevant. These guys would both have Supreme damage with 100%, with a great chance at 100% attack, and 80% and 50% defense. Yeah, that was it. Cell would get mostly the passive. He would get 20%, 20% attack, 10% defense, and maybe an orb changing for himself to help him out. Frieza would get 120% attack and 100% defense on super attack, with the Kaioken attack raise and a chance to stun. Kaioken Goku, we just went over, would get 4 ki, 120% attack, and 80% defense, along with the dodge chance, and reducing his HP reduction by 5% to 3%, and hopefully pick up Fierce Battle, but if not, oh well. Then again, this is all my own theorizing, so I don't even know at this point. And Pikkon, well, Pikkon would go up to probably attack 120% and defense both 70% down for enemies. And hopefully the JP one could pick up Prepared for Battle and Fierce Battle with an easy A, and hopefully make him usable on at least Super Int, if anything. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is a video I was talking to a friend today, and I just thought, hey, what if this could bridge the gap between the units on Global and JP and maybe make everybody happy? But yeah, that's all I got to say. Tell me what you guys say in the comments, if the units here were a bit too broken or not. Too broken or too weak. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video, if it doesn't take another month. Until then, later.